Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mitch. Today, I'm not going to talk about Linux. I'm going to talk about Android and Apple phones and some devices. So, let's get to it. In December 2001, I bought my first cell phone, and it was a Samsung. This is it here. I don't know if you can see that. It's a Samsung. It opens up. It's a flip phone. You could do texting on it, but I never tried. And you couldn't watch YouTube or go on the internet or do anything like that. It just used it to make phone calls. And the battery was still good. It worked. I even dropped it maybe like 5 times on the cement in the underground parking where I park. Never broke, never cracked or anything. And I used this from 2001 maybe to 2016. And then, believe it or not, I went 2 years without a cell phone. And people would say, well, how, if someone wants to contact you, what are they going to do? They can phone me on my home phone and leave a message on the answering machine. Then, in 2008, I bought my first Apple product. In 2008, I bought this iPod. It's an 8 gig iPod, and it still works. I've been using it since 2008. I have music in here. This was my very first Apple product that I bought. Now, I've never owned an Apple computer, but this was my first Apple product I bought, and it still works. I still use this today. The battery is still good. I have music in it, and I use this for the car. I plug it into the car, and I listen to my music. And I'm just turned it on because it has battery power. My next Apple product was this one. This is also an iPad. It's an iPod. This is an iPod Classic. This Classic is 120 gig. I don't know if you can see it. It's probably not going to show up on the video. But anyways, it's 120 gig. I can't turn it on because I haven't used it in a long time and the battery drained, but it does work. Has a fantastic battery. And I bought this in 2009. In January of 2009, I bought this and it still works. Fantastic. So because I was so impressed with my iPods, in 2015, I bought my first iPad. It was the Mini 2. And this is it here. Now, this is not the original case because I gave it to my wife and I bought a new case for her to use it in. And tell you the truth, she doesn't use it. Anyways, this I bought. Now, the Mini 2, they came out in 2013. It has a 16 gigabyte hard drive. And so they came out in 2013, and I bought this at the end of 2015. So they were already 2 years old. And if you watched my other video on my early computer years, you should remember that I mentioned I always bought computers that were going off the market because the price was down. Now I buy refurbished old computers and I put Linux in them. Anyway, so when I bought this, it was going off the market, but it was still brand new. It wasn't used. And like I said, I bought it in 2015 and these came out in 2013. And believe it or not, this thing still works. I just used it the other day. It still works. The battery is fantastic. It holds battery power. It's amazing. And the thing that's really amazing and the thing you have to give Apple credit for, it still gets updates. I received a security update. Now, I hadn't had it on for a long time. I had it turned off for maybe 6 months or 8 months. And that's another thing. When you turn these things off, if you're not going to be using them, you should leave them. If you're putting them into storage, you should leave the battery half full, power right down, and then put it away into storage. So I had this in storage for about 8 months, and last week I turned it on, and the battery still had power. And of course I had to charge it, and it received a security update. So Apple is still, even though these came out in 2013 and they got discontinued a long time ago, Apple is still giving security updates for this. Isn't that amazing? And the thing works. So then I bought this iPad just over a year ago. These ones came out in 2021. I think it came out around the end of 2021. And the thing is good. It works. I don't have it on right now, but it works. It's only a year old. And I bought this to replace my other iPad. Now, like I said, I used a Samsung phone from 2001 to 2015, maybe 2016. And I went a couple of years without a phone. Well, I had a home phone with an answering machine, and that was it. Then in 2018, I bought my first smartphone. It was a Motorola. And this is it here. I don't have it on right now, but it still works. I turned it on the other day. This is it here. And this is a picture of it on the internet. So this is what it looks like when it's turned on. And it works, and it was a fantastic first smartphone for me to use. When I bought this phone, it had only been on the market for a year. Brand new on the market for a year. And after I had it for a year, it stopped receiving security updates. So it only had security updates for 2 years, and that's terrible because the phone still works. Although I don't have a SIM card in it anymore, it still works, but only had a life shelf of 2 years because if it's not receiving security updates into the operating system, it makes it very vulnerable. So that would be my biggest criticism of Motorola, and because of that, I will never buy a Motorola again. And then I bought a Samsung, and this Samsung was my second smartphone. It's a Samsung A11. It's a lower priced phone for Samsung. It's their lower priced phone, and it was fantastic. And it's still getting security updates. I'm not using it anymore because I gave it to my wife, and my wife is using it now, but it still gets security updates. We've been using it for 3 years, and it's fantastic. So I gave my Samsung A11 to my wife because I bought an iPhone, and this would be my first iPhone. So this is the lower priced iPhone. It's the SE that came out in 2022. And I bought it a few months after it came out. That's what it looks like with the case on. Let's just turn it on. That's what it looks like. So the reason why I stopped using my Samsung A11, although it was working great and I gave it to my wife, is because I was hyped up on the iPhone. I never had an iPhone. I love my iPads. My iPads work great. And also I was watching I watched the app part of just a little bit of the Apple event and all the hype. And I thought I just want an iPhone. And I also thought the iPhone would be more secure because my iPad Mini 2, which came on the market in 2013, is still getting updates. And I was really upset about the Motorola, which was only 2 years old, not getting updates anymore. So I thought I want an iPhone. So I got my first iPhone. This was it. I've been using it. I got this last May 2022, so it's not even a year yet, almost a year. And what I want to say is that I think when this goes kaput, which probably won't be for another few years because I take care of my stuff, I think I might go back to Samsung. And as much as I love the iPad and the way the operating system works on the iPad, I think the Samsung is a better phone. On my Samsung, which my wife is using now, you can just pull down a menu, and it has an icon for silence, vibrate, or ring. And this doesn't. I mean, this is an Apple product, and well, let me put it to you this way. Let's open it up. So these are the icons. I can put it on airplane mode, but there's no icon to silence it or turn it on to vibrate. And on the Samsung A11, there's an icon there. You hit it once, it puts it on silent mode. Hit it again, it puts it on vibrate. Hit it again, it puts it on ring. And there's a lot of other options that the Samsung Android phone has that this doesn't have. And for example, the Samsung A11, if you tap it, it goes off. If you tap it, it goes on. This doesn't have it. So even though it's a good phone, this Apple phone, I'm really disappointed with it. And I kind of regretted giving the Samsung A11 to my wife. Anyways, that is a short video that is not Linux. Now, before I go, let's just say this. I think there is a Linux pad you can get, and there are Linux phones you can get. And I think Manjaro comes on a phone. Manjaro has a phone that it comes on, and I think there might be an Ubuntu phone too. But the thing is that any of the Linux YouTubers that purchase the phones, they all say they're not ready to be used for general use. So really, the Linux is not ready for the phone yet. So like I said, this is not a Linux video. This was just a video about my iPads and iPhones. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. I am the Linux Mensch.